Hey everyone, Hinterland Customs, and this is a response video to to Coen Skill Modeling. He put out a video a couple weeks ago when he was showing the archery stuff he did, and it was showing just what other hobbies you have. I know somebody I think in the car community had done this before last year with hobbies, but anyway, this is a hobby I have that I've been participating in off and on since I was a kid, and it's sports card collecting. Starting off at the beginning, kind of going left to right with the cards in the back there. We've got some old cards to go over. Going to show what the storage of cards. I'm going to go over autograph and swatch jersey cards, numbered cards, and what a pack break is or a box break, and just some different things about the industry. But when this started, way back with like the ones like this, it was just like if you think of the little toy that they put in Cracker Jack boxes. It was just kind of a gimmick thing, just to like, hey, if you buy this item from us, we're going to include a second item of fun or whatever. And with the tobacco companies like Piedmont, they would put these old baseball cards, and they were doing cards of the members of the team. So that's Schlee of the New York Yankees, and that card that I'm holding in my hand is from 1909, so it's over 100 years old. Got many of those. Many. They are fun to collect. There's another one, a guy for the Cubs. And the reason I like these is because they're old. And there's a saying in the card collecting community that we are the temporary curators of history. And that's essentially what all this stuff is as I look at time differently than other people, this is all just pieces of sports history, basically, that's in front of me. But when those cards were made, it wasn't made to have a collector value down the road. And what happened is, decades later, people started trying to collect them and find them because a lot of them were just simply gone. They didn't make a lot of them, and guys started wanting to collect the cards. And so as the collection thing started happening, companies realized, like, hey, there's money in this. Let's start just making cards, not just to make them to put them in packs of tobacco and later bubble gum. Let's make them to collect, so people will buy them to collect. Then you fast forward through the decades, you get into the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, especially in the 90s and 2000s. This happened. It happened in comic books. It happened in the car industry here a few years ago. It's like you have too much. And what happened is with the card industries, the market just got saturated. And so the value of a lot of cards initially just did not take off. Things that they thought had an immediate value when it was put out there, it just kind of crashed. It is also it's a hobby that seems to, with the market, it goes with the regular economy. I've bought and sold sports cards for over 20 years, and 9/11, 2008, certain things that happened in the United States here, economic wise, I could tell, if the economy is hurting, people are out of jobs, they're not going to be spending money on their hobby naturally. So, and smartly. So anyway, it's like the stock market. It can go up and down, but I really collect just because I enjoy it. And I've followed sports, and I follow football mostly, or have up to this point anyway. And so I'm familiar with the players. Sometimes I was able to look at some player that's a rookie and say, I think he may be a Hall of Fame player. So why don't I buy a bunch of his rookie cards, put them away, and just see how it turns out. And sometimes you can bank the money early and sell some, or you just buy one and keep it for your collection. Here's one way you can store a card. This is called a sleeve, and it's just a little plastic sleeve. You put the card in there like that. This is called a top loader. This is a Mylar, hard plastic, if you will, and then you just put the card in there, and then it is protected. And that's a good way to store cards. I've got ones in binders as well, like photo album kind of binders, 3-ring binders. You can do it like that. This is a way that cards are graded, so you have a better chance of maybe selling a card or getting an exact, if you're into it for selling down the road. Here's a Dante Culpepper card, and this is a rookie card as he's in his college uniform at University of Central Florida. It says Mint 9. It's got a barcode on there. This is the pgsgrading.com, and so they have graded this card. So somebody, it wasn't me, I bought it later. somebody sent this card in and then had them grade it. And the grading process is very thorough. They're taking a microscope to this thing. They're making sure there are no fingerprints. They're making sure the edges are not bent. There's no scuff marks. It's really hard to actually get a 10, but I do have some 10s. But if you get a 10, that's perfect. That means the card has 0 blemishes that they can see on it or anything's wrong with it. But anyway, that one's a 9. And there's also, like you see here, mint. There's mint, near mint, fine, like very fine, fine, good, and poor, I think is the lowest grading you can get. Here's another one, and this, as a Lions fan, this is Lem Barney. He's a famous player. This is a jersey patch, so this is actually a piece of jersey that he wore in a game. And the cutout there, as you can see, is the number 20. So they've done lots of things to really sell this card. They've got the jersey patch. They got it in the shape of the number 20. This is a Leaf Limited, and this card is actually graded at 8.5. So it's near mint dash to mint plus. So it's near mint to mint. It says it's missing the serial number. Now, I'm not sure what happened. That's very odd, but I don't know if that means it's missing it on the card. Maybe it is. Anyway, that's how they grade the cards. There's a professional grading system. Getting back to these old 2 cards, I like to buy cards that mean something to me, or just I find that there's an interesting story behind it. This is a guy, Walt Johnson. Anybody that's a baseball fan has heard his name. Famous player, and it shows there. After being called up from the Southern Idaho League, Walter Johnson played baseball about 20 minutes south of where I grew up, and so when I was growing up, we heard a lot about him. They had things in the museum in town about him. He kind of brought a little fame to a little farm town there, and was really a phenomenal player, Hall of Fame player. This is another one that I like. This is Charlie Conerly. Now, looking at this card, it's 1962 maybe. I'm not sure the exact year on this. But the point of this card is you guys may not know football. You might not like football. That's fine. You may not have sports cards. But you also know this guy as a pop culture icon. This guy later went on to have another job, and that was as the Marlboro Man. So Charlie Conerly, that's what he did after football. They cast him as the Marlboro Man, and he was in all those commercials and TV and even magazine advertisements for many years, advertising Marlboro cigarettes. I think the story goes he also died of lung cancer. But anyway, there you go. There's the Marlboro Man. Before he was riding horses, smoking cigarettes, he was throwing a football. There's other things you can that make a card collectible. These are called inserts. So you can see these are part of a Crown Royal theme. So they put the crown on there. They put in the shape of the crown, and so forth. And so this is from 1995, 96. This team no longer exists. It's the Houston Oilers, which became the Tennessee Titans, and then Houston eventually got a new team called the Texans. But anyway, that's an insert. Here's another one, a basketball player, Allen Iverson, famous player. This one's just a different shaped card. It's not shaped in the normal rectangle, and so that's called an insert. Another way they made cards valuable, you've got autograph cards. Here's Kerryon Johnson of the Detroit Lions. Let's see if this is numbered. I don't think it is. But it says the autograph is guaranteed by Panini America. Panini is another company that makes cards. They've also got digital online trading source. So you have an autograph there. This is another one I liked. I always liked this player, Kurt Rambis. This is a numbered card and an autograph card. So it's 11 of 25. So that means there's only 25 of those cards made. You've got his autograph here. It's a Panini Flawless. I think Panini makes the Flawless brand. Anyway, Kurt Rambis, when I was growing up, I thought it was hilarious because he looked like a math wizard, like a math whiz, like a math teacher maybe, mad scientist. He had this disheveled haircut, and he wore these black, thick-framed reading glasses like people had in the 50s. And he just did not look like an athlete at all. If you met him on the street, you just think this guy's a computer nerd or something. But nope, he was actually a great athlete. Went on to actually coach the Lakers as well. We'll we're going to get back into these jersey patches. I've read where these didn't really take off like they thought, where they took a piece of the jersey and put it in the card. I've also got ones where they took a piece of the football. So they buy the football that was used in a game that a guy used in, like, say, a quarterback or something, and then they cut it into pieces and make like 50 cards with that piece of football. I thought that was kind of cool myself. But it never really took off from a value point like they thought it would. This one, clearly there's 2 players on here is what they did. So they've got quarterback Payton Manning, receiver Marvin Harrison, a jersey from each, and then on the back it's numbered 134 of 500. So they made 500 of those, and I've got the 134th that was made. Now there's the same one with this one. This is 2 of 25. It's rare. Only 25 made. I've got the second one, clearly a number off his jersey with the card there. That's Danny Amendola, currently with the Lions, I think, but he was with the Dolphins then. So, anyway, here's another old one. I bought this card at an auction here in town that they had an estate auction, and that was an interesting auction. There were some heavy hitters there. There was guys with, their big books, the Beckett books and everything that tells them what a card's worth. And some of them were carrying a lot of cash. But I got this one. Sid Hudson, and this is from 1947. So very old card, just after World War II. I liked it because it was just a different shape card. It was just more of a square than a rectangle. So that's just one, a neat one to throw in there. And then this is a Walter Payton card. This denotes 1,000 yards. So he ran for over 1,000 yards that year. Walter Payton, 76 would have been damn near his rookie, second year in the league. Yeah, Walter Payton went on to be one of the greatest all-time players. Passed away of cancer many years ago. So, last thing I guess I can cover, there's cards going back to what they were talking about with commons. Like, you had a lot of cards produced. This is a common card. So it's a reprint to make it look like what cards looked like in 1963. Deion Sanders playing for the Cincinnati Reds. I picked up Sanders cards because Sanders is the only player in history to win a World Series ring in baseball and a Super Bowl ring in football. He was a 2-sport athlete at the professional level, which is really pretty remarkable. But anywho, now he's just on TV as an analyst or something like the rest of those guys are. But this card's just a common card. This card has no real worth or value. Another thing they have is called a card break, and I'll kind of close off with pretty much with that. But this is a Skybox, a brand called Skybox. I really liked their cards back in the day. I don't even know what year. I want to say this is the late 90s, maybe. We'll find out. It looks like it's 1990. So this is over 30 years old, or roughly 30 years old. And so what they do is they have a break. So what we're going to do is do a break. So I will just take my old X-Acto knife and cut. Make sure you don't cut the card. I'm just going to slice the end off of that. And we're going to do a break. So a break is when you open a pack. How am I doing? Yeah, 30 years old. So a break's when you first open a pack. So this pack is just now being opened, and then you go through, I'd have never heard of him, Joe Dumars. These are all commons anyway. So Reggie Theus and Larry Smith. Yeah, most of these are, and then some of them will have a checklist. Like, here's your checklist of all the cards in a set. A lot of people will try to collect an entire set of cards. But anyway, this one, there's nothing special about these cards. That's why I opened it. Detlef Schrempf. Yeah, some of these guys might have played 2 years. There's some more names I recognize. But, yeah, some of these, Trent Tucker of the Knicks. So that's what a break is. You break. And what happens in a break is guys will do a break of a box or a pack. And then what happens is they'll have a pull. So they'll pull a rare card. Like, they'll pull a card that's a numbered card, like this Danny Amendola card that's like number 2 of 25. So you'll have packs that'll have a special card in there. I don't have it here. I thought I did. In order to keep people from stealing packs that they know has a special card like this, because it's got a jersey and it's thicker, they include, I thought I had one around here somewhere, but Anyway, they'll include these cardboard inserts. And so it's just it's just an insert that's about the same size as this card. So every pack they take now, like these didn't have one because they weren't doing it back then. They'll take this and then they'll put a thick cardboard piece on each side of it. It's just a piece of white cardboard. And that way people in the stores aren't trying to feel the pack and see, oh, there's a rare card in there, and then they know to buy that one. So there's that. But anyway, finish off. That was one of the first cards I ever got. 1986, Wade Boggs of the Boston Red Sox. So that's from the first pack I ever opened. I don't know how old I was, 11 or something. Anyway, that's pretty much it. But that's my hobby. I know it went pretty long here talking about it, but it's fun. Like I said, the market's up and down. Mostly I just collect certain ones that I like. I like the looks of them, or maybe there's some neat story behind the card or the player or something. But I do sell cards at times too. So when the market's going good, I go on eBay and I just sell some cards. I've funded some of my other hobbies that way. So anyway, you guys take care out there. And this was a fun video to do. I hope you enjoyed it. If not, have a good day anyway. We'll see you down the road. Stay safe. Bye.